Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel, and quick reminder before we jump into the topic, I am currently pushing to cross 15,000 subscribers before the end of this year, 2020. I am well on my way, so if you happen to enjoy this video as you watch it and you like my face, then you should definitely consider subscribing to the channel so I can try to hit that milestone before the year closes out. So today turned out to be a surprisingly big day in the world of Zelda news and rumors, as most of us saw this morning, suddenly The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, yes, the Wii motion control focused game that has fans very divided, was trending, and basically what had happened was it was discovered that on Amazon UK, there was actually a listing with no release date or information for this game on the Nintendo Switch. So that's right, here we are once again talking about the very idea of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword finally making its way to any other console than the Nintendo Wii that it actually launched on. Those of you might remember around 2 years ago or so, IG and Numa actually discussed this briefly at like a Zelda concert, like an orchestrated symphonic concert for The Legend of Zelda music, and he was addressing the audience at one point during the show, and he cracked a quick joke saying something about, oh, wouldn't it be really kind of cool and fun and interesting to play Skyward Sword on the Nintendo Switch? And everyone laughed it off, and they had a good guffaw, and then they called it good. And then all the rest of us on the internet started saying, whoa. Are you trying to tell us that you're making a version of Skyward Sword for the Nintendo Switch? And that got a lot of us very excited, but of course nothing ever came of that, and they ended up having to backtrack and say, hey, that's not what we're saying. And in my research before hopping on to record this video, I actually found out that even last year, he was speaking with Game Informer about the Zelda series at large, and was even asked about the very idea of bringing Skyward Sword to some other console, and this is what he said. So you're saying control it all with buttons? That's a little hard. I think it might be close to impossible. So that seems to be the last time IG Aonuma or anyone from Nintendo actually discussed publicly the idea of bringing Skyward Sword to any other console, let alone the Nintendo Switch. And here he says it would certainly be hard and it would be close to impossible, which I think has been the big conversation that we've all been having about Skyward Sword for years, right? I mean, this game came out on the Nintendo Wii November 19th, I want to say. It was near the end of November in 2011, you guys. 9 years ago. It's literally a year away from being 10 years old, as crazy as that sounds. And on the Nintendo Wii, the game required Wii Motion Plus. You couldn't even use a standard Wii remote with the sensor bar. You had to use Wii Motion Plus, either having the extra little Motion Plus dongle attached to your Wii remote, or buying one of the newer Wii remotes that actually had Wii Motion Plus built into it, so that it was using true gyro. It wasn't actually using the sensor bar and the pointer from the end of the Wii remote. It was very interesting, but of course it relied so heavily on that motion that's what made it a hard game for a lot of us to picture showing up on any other console. Like, we've all wanted it throughout the years. I think it would make sense. I would like to think that it's possible, but we know because of its reliance on the motion control gaming that it's been hard to imagine on another platform. So I've long said, and I've said this on videos in the past as well, that Skyward Sword is in a position where I think it's actually unfortunate that that game is the one Zelda game in the long history of mainline Zelda games that is really currently trapped on its original console. It is stuck on the Nintendo Wii, both because A, Nintendo hasn't decided to bring it to another console, and B, the motion controls make it hard for them to do so. And I think that sucks, because I'll be real with you guys, I freaking love Skyward Sword. I adore this game. I think it's a wonderful adventure. It's an incredible story. I think it's the best told story in all of the Zelda games. I think that version of Zelda, the character, is easily the best she's ever been. She has a lot of personality. She's very vibrant. She just has a lot of charm to her. And I think that the game deserves new life, because we have to remember most of the other mainline 3D Zelda games have all been ported and remade and re-released in a variety of ways. The Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask got re-releases and remakes on the 3DS. Twilight Princess and The Wind Waker got re-released in HD on the Wii U. And we're sitting here with just this one incredible game that already had a huge barrier of entry just because of the motion, and now it could be an opportunity to be brought to new people and new gamers. I mean, it would have been great on the Wii U, where you could use a Wii Remote, to be fair, and I think it would be even better on the Nintendo Switch, and I really hope that Nintendo is truly about to find a way to make this happen. Now, of course, if we focus back in on what's happening here with this whole rumor, we're really looking at nothing more than an Amazon posting for this game. And there's been plenty of instances in the past where Amazon postings and leaks have turned out to be something for a real title that we didn't know about beforehand, but there's also plenty of instances where that's not really the case. Currently, the link is still up. I'm going to have it linked below for you guys to check it out. I mean, it exists. I should say at some point it might get pulled down, so maybe by the time you check it, it's going to be down, but right before recording this video, I checked the link, and it works. It takes you to a Skyward Sword page on Amazon UK. And so we have nothing really to go on other than this, but it's being discussed by a lot of news outlets, a lot of journalists, and of course all of us YouTubers and people online, and it is certainly very exciting. Now, what I will tell you, I kind of have a gut feeling that this might be real, you guys. It's really exciting, and I'm not basing that on anything other than the posting we currently have and just how this feels to me right now. And this feels pretty good, you know? I mean, I'm not saying to put money in Vegas based on what Rob's gut is telling him, but I really do feel like there could be something to this. And part of the reason is because of what I just spent so much time talking to you guys about. Currently, Skyward Sword is the only Zelda game stuck on its original platform, and I'm sure that Nintendo is aware of that. I'm sure that they care about that. They've enjoyed giving other Zelda games new life on new platforms. Why wouldn't they want to also give Skyward Sword the same treatment? I'm sure it bothers them that it feels so stuck, and I know that they would like to re-release it. They would also make a killing. They would make so much money releasing this game on another platform and potentially even improving it. And I say that as somebody who likes the motion controls. I love the game, like I said, in the story, but I also liked the gameplay. I didn't mind swinging sword to fight certain enemies and whatnot. Like, I guess I understand how that was annoying and cumbersome to some people. For me, I thought it was cool. It made it more immersive. I had a lot of fun with it. It worked very well for the most part. I would say it had an overall about 90% accuracy. You know, there's maybe that 10% of the times that you're using it that it doesn't really do what you want to do, but that's not so bad, right? 90% success rate otherwise. At least for me, I thought it was great. Obviously, we all know how it could work. The Nintendo Switch has Joy-Cons, motion control, individual controllers that you hold in each hand, completely independent from each other, that use motion, just like the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, just like Wii Motion Plus. Remember, Wii Motion Plus did not rely on the pointer and the sensor bar. It relied on gyro, basically, which is exactly what is in the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, which means it should be able to replicate that very, very well. Would they also be willing to include some traditional controls using only buttons and no motion? That's another big question. And I know that Anuma says it's close to impossible here, but I think that's enough of a window for us to believe it could actually happen. I discussed this the last time this rumor got out there, and I'll bring it up again. I think that one of the most ingenious ways they might be able to get around the motion control of Skyward Sword in a traditional controller for something like a Nintendo Switch or any other platform would be if there would be a way to bring up like a radial dial kind of menu for Link's sword swings, right? So what I envision is something like you can use the B button just like you would in any other Zelda game. You press the B button and he swings it. Every time you press, he's just swinging back and forth. Just like Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild. Bing, bang, bing, bang, boom, swing, swang, swing, swang, swoom, and there you go. But what if you could use one of the trigger buttons, like the L button, or maybe you could click in L3 or R3 or something weird like that, or even maybe hold the B button, and by doing so, you actually bring up that menu that's like a radial dial, and wherever you move it with your analog stick, you're rotating with your analog stick, and then you press the button and he's going to swing that way or this way or that way or whatever different way he needs to do. I mean, holding the B button was actually suggested to me on a live stream from a viewer, but regardless of which one of these ways to do it, this for years has been how I envision them getting around the idea. And it would be a tricky balance. They would have to make it something very seamless, something very comfortable, something that hopefully would not get in the way of the pace of combat. You don't want it to impede the rhythm of what you're doing. And maybe, you know, if you're able to bring it up and still continue to move while you do so, I feel like there's probably a way to do it, you know? It might be something that is just... There might not be a way to do it and make it actually fun. Maybe that's the problem with that, but I don't know. That's just one idea from me, a person who doesn't make or program games. I don't know anything about this stuff, but I know games, I know Zelda, and it seems to make sense to me, and I think it could be a potentially very elegant solution to this problem of porting this game. I also think about the beautiful visuals of Skyward Sword. I love the world, I love the visual style. Yes, it was, you know, on the Nintendo Wii, so it's standard definition and limited hardware, but if we were going to see a situation where they were going to bring it to the Nintendo Switch, there's a really good chance that Nintendo puts a lot of effort into the visuals. And if they tighten up and improve that really cool art style of that game, it could look jaw-dropping. I mean, just making it HD would be fine. It would look very good, and I think we'd all be okay with that. But wouldn't it be cool if they took it to another level? I mean, if Nintendo was willing to completely redo Link's Awakening in that amazing art style and new engine for that game, why couldn't they do something similar? Maybe not that far, because Skyward Sword is like 20 times bigger than Link's Awakening, but could they make like a 25% jump in that direction by really updating all of the character models, the lighting, the shadows, the textures, while making it HD? I mean, really, you guys, they could do something potentially very, very special. We've seen Nintendo do that in other games. I mean, look at what they did with Samus Returns as well. I would love to see them do for Skyward Sword what Sony did for Shadow of the Colossus. That's a great comparison in my brain. Obviously, the art styles are different, okay? Shadow of the Colossus goes for something skewing way more towards realism. Skyward Sword, I don't want them to ditch the over-the-top cartoony art style. I just want them to make it look way more modern in terms of quality. And I just, oh man, I get excited, you guys, when I think about this game on my Nintendo Switch, playing on my TV, playing portable, HD visuals, improved controls, tightening up of the overall experience, and really, really good-looking modern graphics. I don't know, I just get chills of like how awesome and epic that would be, because really, the game is that good to me. It's a great adventure. The music, by the way, I'll say this, I said it on my Zelda list video a couple of months ago, and I'll say it again today. I will stand by this. The best music in the Zelda series, bar none. Oh my god, the music is so freaking good for Skyward Sword. And I mean, and it's already in a series known for some of the greatest music in gaming, so really picture that if that puts it in perspective. I just think that there's a future for this game. So, at the end of the day, this boils down to really just a rumor and an Amazon posting that could mean nothing. But obviously, it's exciting. There's a chance that it means something, that it could be real. I, as a Zelda fan and a Skyward Sword fan, obviously get very excited about the idea, so I've got 15 minutes to blab to you guys about it, talk about how it could happen, talk about the possibility, talk about this rumor, if it's real or not, and I don't know. It just could be something that happens. So that's where this stands for now. Potentially very exciting, but we need to wait and see, because this could certainly turn out to be nothing. So you hear my thoughts and opinions and my breakdown on this whole crazy exciting thing. What do you guys think? Do you want this game to come? Do you not? Have you played it? Have you not? Did you hate it? Do you like it? What do you think is possible here? How do you think Nintendo could even make this game work on the Switch? Does it need motion? Does it need traditional? What's the best way? I want to hear what you guys have to say. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.